In a forgotten corner of the ancient world, a young man seeks his place among legends, only to find that true strength lies not in conquest, but in the trials of the soul. In the mist-laden hills of ancient Thessalos, where the olive groves whisper the secrets of long-forgotten kings, there lived a young man named Thulos. Though born of noble blood, Thalos had grown discontented, chafing against the quiet duties of his father's estate. He longed for glory, for songs sung in his name, for his life to be etched into the annals of history. Yet, for all his ambition, a shadow clung to his heart, a gnawing pride that soured his every effort. One morning, as dawn stretched its golden fingers across the Aegean, Talos climbed the slopes of Mount Theon, where it was said that those who sought the favor of the gods might find guidance. At the mountain summit, where the air grew thin and the sky pressed close, he found a solitary altar, its stone surface worn smooth by the passage of countless pilgrims. As Thalos approached, a great wind stirred the pine trees, and a figure stepped from the shadows, a towering form cloaked in a mantle of storm-gray feathers. His eyes crackled with the pale fire of lightning. This was Arios, the god of trials and tempest, whose voice shook the hearts of mortals. "Why do you stand before my altar, Thalos, son of Thessalos?" Arios thundered, his voice a cascade of falling rocks. "What is it you seek?" Thalos straightened his shoulders, feeling the weight of his own breath. "I seek to carve my name among the great, to rise above the common ranks of men and be remembered forever." Arios regarded him for a long moment, his eyes narrowing as if peering into the marrow of the young man's bones. Then, with a wave of his hand, the clouds gathered, swirling into a dense fog that enveloped Thalos, snuffing out the sun's light. "Very well," Arios said, his voice now a distant rumble. "But know this, mortal, to rise you must first fall. To conquer, you must first be broken. I will send you to the Isle of Catharos, where your true mettle shall be tested. There, your pride will find its measure." When the mist cleared, Thalos found himself upon a barren shore, the cold wind biting at his skin. Before him stretched the Isle of Catharos, a harsh, stony land ringed by jagged cliffs and battered by relentless waves. He clenched his fists, feeling the fire of his ambition flare within him. Whatever trials awaited, he would not falter. The first test came swiftly. As he climbed the craggy slopes, a serpent of stone coiled across his path, its scales glinting like shattered glass. It uncoiled slowly, its eyes narrowing to slits as it hissed. "Turn back, mortal, or be shattered upon my fangs." Thalos reached for his blade, but as he did, the ground beneath him gave way, and he plunged into a dark, echoing chasm. He fell for what seemed an eternity, the wind tearing at his clothes, and the darkness pressing close, whispering of his failures and weaknesses. When he finally struck the ground, the air was thick with the stench of wet earth and bitter smoke. His limbs ached, his breath ragged. But even in this pit he refused to cry out, refused to acknowledge the fear that clutched at his heart. From the shadows emerged a figure, a gaunt, hollow-eyed man, his flesh gray as ash, and his fingers twisted like the roots of an ancient tree. This was Doloros, the spirit of despair. "Why do you struggle, son of Thessalos?" Doloros whispered, his breath like the sigh of a dying fire. "You are but one among countless souls, each more fragile than the last. Give in to your weakness, and I shall guide you to rest." Thalos staggered to his feet, his fists clenching. "I am not a shadow to be swept aside. My name will be known. My deeds will echo through the halls of time." Doloros's eyes flickered with a hint of surprise, and he melted back into the darkness, his whispers fading like smoke. Climbing from the pit, bloodied and weary, Thalos found himself upon a rocky plateau. Before him stood a gleaming figure, tall and radiant, with eyes like polished bronze. This was Arete, the spirit of virtue, who stepped forward and offered him a cup brimming with clear, cool water. "Drink," she said, her voice the soft rustle of olive branches. "But know that this water will reveal your true self. If you are as strong as you believe, you shall stand. If not, you shall crumble to dust." Without hesitation, Thalos took the cup and drank deeply. The water burned as it passed his lips, a searing heat that cut through to his very soul. Visions of his life flashed before him, his arrogance, his petty rivalries, his unspoken fears. But amid the pain, he felt a steady, unyielding pulse, the will to overcome. When he lowered the cup, his legs trembled, and his sight blurred, but he remained standing. Arete smiled, her bronze eyes gleaming. "You have faced yourself," she said, stepping back into the light. "Now go. Your path is clear." As the mist parted, Thalos found himself once again upon the slopes of Mount Theon, the distant cry of an eagle echoing across the wind-carved stones. He had not conquered a kingdom, nor slain a mighty beast, but he had confronted the shadow within himself. And in that moment, he felt the weight of his ambitions shift, becoming something lighter, something truer. With a final glance at the distant horizon, Thalos began the long walk home, his heart strangely at peace, his path no longer shrouded in fog.